Hi there, I'm Andrew D. Pope. When intelligent, capable professionals reach a point in midlife where they feel something's off kilter, something's noticeably off track, they often jump to the wrong conclusion. They feel that they should be having some sort of reinvention. They feel they need some sort of dramatic move or statement at that point. They consider a career change. They consider a completely new direction in their lives. They consider tearing it all down and starting from scratch. Now, this can sound bold and decisive. However, in almost all circumstances, it's the wrong thing to do, in my experience, and the experience of many people I've coached as well, by the way. Now, when professionals feel this kind of misalignment, they don't actually need reinvention. What they need is recalibration. So, even though I've indicated strongly that reinvention in most cases is not the right choice, why is reinvention still so attractive to people? Well, in my experience, there are a few reasons. Firstly, it's big and bold and a decisive move. Starting again, tearing things up, rebuilding, going in a new direction feels like a very decisive choice. Secondly, it does usher in the potential or the possibility of a completely clean break. The old you goes, the old structures you inhabited go, and you usher in a new world of possibilities, and that's exciting. Thirdly, it's a big psychological message to self and others that you've made a decisive decision and taken action. You are tearing down the old you. You are tearing down the old situation. You're in control here. You're in charge. This is a good thing. However, what reinvention does indicate or points to is the fact that it assumes you are broken in some way. There's something wrong. You failed in some way. The situation you are in is untenable. It's unfixable. Well, this is simply not true. For me, the problem with reinvention is that there is almost always collateral damage. Reinvention means the abandonment of the capabilities that you have built up over years in your professional life. Your judgment, your skills, your experience, your knowledge, all of these things together effectively represent your professional and in many cases your personal identity. Reinvention is effectively identity demolition. That's a big thing. So, reinvention assumes the solution is to tear all this down and start again. But for most professional people, the issue is not capability, knowledge, and skills. It's alignment. Alignment between what you can and could do against what you are doing. Your knowledge and skills may still be extremely valuable to you, but the way they're being used may no longer fit the person you've become. Over the years, and having worked with and coached many people, there's a pattern I've seen often, which I call identity lag. Identity lag means that you've evolved internally, but your external structures and activities haven't caught up yet. Your thinking has deepened. Your priorities have changed. Your tolerance for certain conditions and environments is no longer the same. Your role, your responsibilities, your structures still reflect an earlier, now outdated version of you, and that gap creates friction. Now, over time, that friction can manifest as frustration, dissatisfaction, a feeling that something just isn't right. Here's the thing, although it feels like it, there is no failure on your part. What you find there is misalignment. This is where recalibration enters the picture. Recalibration is a very different thing than reinvention. Recalibration is gentler. It's far less dramatic and fraught. Recalibration is a deliberate, intelligent, thoughtful adjustment before drift compounds. Instead of asking, who should I become, which is what you would ask in reinvention, recalibration has you asking, what should I adjust? Sometimes that adjustment is surprisingly small. It might mean introducing more stretch into your life. It might mean using your capabilities in a different format or in a different way. It might mean making just a slight alteration to your trajectory rather than abandoning the whole path. Recalibration is about thoughtful, intelligent adjustment rather than identity demolition. Small adjustments can create enormous changes over time. Adjustments compound. Imagine altering a flight path of an aircraft by just 1 degree early on in that flight. At first, the change is almost invisible, but over time and distance, that small change can make a massive difference to the final destination. It's the same in your professional life. Recalibration works in exactly the same way. A small, deliberate, thoughtful change today can prevent you having to make a much larger correction further down the line. So for me, the danger of dramatic reinvention is that you replace one misalignment with a new misalignment. In my experience, it's often worse. You find yourself facing a whole new host of misalignments. You're moving from something frustrating perhaps, but stable, to something wholly unfamiliar and unpredictable. So you have to hope that the reinvention leads to something that feels good for you and works for you. Sometimes it does, but often it's not the career or the trajectory that was actually the issue. It's the alignment between who you are now and what you're doing. Recalibration directly addresses and helps to fix that. So if something in your professional life seems off, your trajectory's off, it feels off kilter, something just doesn't feel right, the question isn't necessarily, do I need to reinvent myself? A better question is, what can I recalibrate? Because in many cases, the solution isn't demolition, it's adjustment. And small, deliberate, thoughtful adjustments made today can create far more change in direction and destination than any dramatic overcorrections or reinventions can later on. Deliberate evolution beats accidental drift. I'm Andrew D. Pope. See you next time.